completed for almost all completed. Yeah. For the second batch, yes. For the second batch, we have completed up to the civil disobedience movement. So for the second batch, definitely I need two classes. How many of them are there from second batch, batch number 2? Yeah, completed. Yes. Finish. Apart from that, yes. General will be continuation. Okay. 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 1 minute. I will get input from 4 to 5 people only. Okay, Kishore. Okay. Okay. Yeah, first batch I have completely. That June the first I started it, completely finished it. Even for the second batch, just 2 classes are there that I have to complete it. Yes, we completed. Yes, yes. Sadiq. Okay. Yeah, for second batch, civil distribution, I need 2 classes. So today I actually to start that part, I should have started that part. 1 minute. Okay, uh, this is no, no. What I'm going to do is just because three mixed groups are there, so uh, just 1 hour. Already next week we have never put any GS major, either history or geography, because of many students left for the university exams. So today we shall do one thing, a brief idea. Just 1 hour I will take classes. With that we shall wind it up this weekend alone. Okay, because even number of people come here is very less. One thing, and another is this mixed people are there. For batch 2, the remaining will be taken separately. We will discuss this. For batch 3, a lot of information to be discussed that we will discuss. That is a old batch. We will discuss. Right. Today a brief. You can ask question better to be there, so that accordingly I will continue my session. Right. So first thing, a brief about main structure. So how you have tried, because prelims wise not at all, you will not feel any difficulties of this. Even one or some tactics are there in prelims, so that I wish to share. I will discuss very general rather than particular. Okay, even you all may close your notebook, or if you want to hint, you may keep it. Right. Here, how about the mains answer writing? Because each paper is different and unique. Each paper, some factual information, some paper more analytical. Within a paper itself, each question, how it should be discussed. That is very important, because there is no one approach for all the questions. There's no one approach for all kind of the questions. Okay. Yes, well, today we will continue it by, because three different section of the batches are there. Just 45 minutes or 1 hour. Otherwise, if you ask question, I will just continue it. Otherwise, we will wind up when this strategy is what I am going to discuss now is over. We will wind up it up. Okay. So better to be there, because if I started to continue CDM for first batch, it will be boring. For third batch, I had to start off this. Even we are much behind of that, so we had to start it. So first I will discuss. Then, if you want any specific question, you may ask. Since I have already given my number, you may ask it. So with that, we shall wind it up. Okay. So here, so mains answer writing. First, what you have to do it. Better to start with your optional. This is the best, because for GS you are studying for both prelims as well as for mains, but for optional you are exclusively studying for the mains perspective. So better to start. Even already now all the optionals are started. So you do one thing, start with that. Okay, start with that and continue. And one or two test you it, write generalization, and with some factual information you bring the same concept. And one second thing is, as of now itself, don't start mains answer writing. Yeah, definitely I will do it. I will do it. Okay. So here, this is the first thing, right? So listen, if the question is asked, normally in your university exams, what you have to do is you would just read the question, and at last after will be there. Discuss, critically examine, right? So likewise, different topics. Normally in your university exam and in academic, we would not bother about it. Just we would say the question, for example, galvanometer, right? So if you see galvanometer, after that what is mentioned, we will never. Immediately what you study in the 12th physics, you just mention. Even some people would put the diagram of the galvanometer, even some people 3D diagram of the galvanometer. It's a shocking. If you see the nearby some toppers one, they started to draw the 3D of the galvanometer. But what is the real question? Whether analyze functioning of the galvanometer, analyze or critically examine or comparative, we would never look into that. But for UPSC, this is important. So this is more important for UPSC. So galvanometers means what? It's like this. So discuss, critically examine. Kindly go through this. In that, different aspects are there. The simplest one is elaborate. Elaborate. At the end of the question, if it is elaborate or elucidate, elucidate. If these two sentence, if you see statement, if you see that, immediately you have to vomit. What we have to do in universities and school days, they are not at all asking for analysis, nothing. Whatever you know, A, B, C, D, F, G, H, you have to write it. Order way. You no need to put F in the first and G in the last. That's not at all. So simplest way of answer is this one. It means that explain. It is none other than explain. Elaborate or elucidate mean explain. You have to just vomit. And next, one step ahead is analyze. Analyze, discuss. Here you no need to put A, B, C, D wise. Even if you can put Z at first based on the question. And you can write G on the last. So this is what analyze means. You should not, this is more factual. So if you see in my here from left to right, the factual informations are gradually getting less. Here somewhat more factual, here is less factual. Analyze and discuss. The same thing, you have to remove the fact and you have to give analytical things. For that you can go for comparative analysis. You can discuss with some, for example, analyze one girl, Manjusa. Manjusa, correct? Yes, right. Analyze Manjusa. If it means that even you can compare Manjusa with that nearby girl. Oh, Manjusa is studying good, but not the nearby girl. So likewise, you can go for analyze or the concept of discussion. Right. If it is elaborate and elucidate, Manjusa was born on there. After that, studied that. After that, went to this college. Now in the civil service, wanted to become likewise, likewise, likewise. If you give the relatives and so on, so that is exclusively for the factual information. That's all. This is what the third. And the next thing is comment. Commenting. Right. Critically examine. Comment, critically examine. These are all the next set. Whenever you are supposed to say comment and critically examine mean, here you should definitely give negative. So without negative, there is no commenting and critically examining concept. So definitely you should write about commenting concept. In commenting means negative should be more. And if the question is comment, you not necessarily to conclude with positive, you not necessarily to conclude. I say it means that it does not mean that no plus. You can give minus also. You should give minus at the same time plus. Okay, comment wise, you may give positive conclusion or negative conclusion or no need to give conclusion, just comment. Okay, if you see an object, how you would comment? For example, if you see a girl or if you see a boy, how would you comment? According to your positive, even the specs of the boy is good. Even the funk is good. Otherwise, for some people, funk, no, he's like a rowdy. So commenting portion of your question is different. For example, Gandhiji ended non-cooperation movement abruptly after Chauri Chaura incident. Comment. Right. Some people can say, no, what Gandhiji did was good. Listen, this is what exactly. Gandhiji abruptly entered NCM after Chauri Chaura incident. Discuss whether is it good or bad. Is some people would say it's a good. Yes. Why it's good? If violence erupted, Chauri Chaura like violence, British would easily suppress the violence. One. Second thing, right, if Gandhiji didn't stop the NCM, Gandhiji himself accepted violence. So people would get a bad view that Gandhiji himself accepted the violence. So what would happen is that led to the promotion of more violence. So many, India itself would become Chauri. Okay, and even Gandhiji mentioned during the starting of his movement that If any single violence happened, I would not hesitate to end the movement. Right? He mentioned like this. I would not hesitate to end the movement. So God Gandhiji said this right, did this right. Last is Gandhi concept is Ahimsa Satyagraha. If it is going on violence, how would Gandhiji start his continue his movement? So what Gandhiji did is good. So some people may comment positively, but some aspirant may comment, no, what Gandhiji did is absolutely wrong. One village committed mistake. If it is a mass movement, here and there you may get violence, but Gandhiji abruptly ended. This is not at all acceptable. One village committed crime, but Gandhiji, instead of punishing that village, he punished the entire India. So criminal is one, but punishment was given to entire India because except Chauri Chaura, right, NCM was going very good actually. Understood? So that's a important thing. No, today just 1 hour class. That's all. When I completed, that's all with this over. Because 3 different batches are there. That's why I said it's difficult to continue for. Even I can discuss a lot, but difficult to continue with any topic. For first batch already discussed. Second batch almost going to our third batch yet. So in this allowed today just an hour or till my structure and your question and answer session is over. With that we will wind it up. And better to go and study for university exam because many aspirants are there. Next week onwards university exams are there. Yes. So this is what here right. Comment in the negative one. So Gandhiji committed. That's wrong. Stopping NCM is wrong. Second thing is police station and the police were set to fire. Why should Gandhiji bother? Why was he bothering about that? One said British was suppressing us. They were killing thousands of people, but still they were the master. But Gandhiji, even accidentally that happened. 22 police persons were, not accidentally, deliberately the 22 police persons were well. Then why did he bother about the killing of the British and the British soldiers? That's a British policeman. So he wanted to protect that British Samraj. He wanted for continuation of the British Samraj. This is the way you have to write it. Analyze means you have to take a point and you have to take analyze. What is the point? Chauri Chaura incident. Abrupt end of NCM. Whether it is good or bad, you have to analyze it. But if the question is asked, discuss Chauri Chaura incident or they explain Chauri Chaura incident mean whatever Gandhiji started NCM so and so. In 5th March 1952, Chauri Chaura, the people set fire, 22 people died. Gandhiji stopped movement. After that, NCM was stopped. Gandhiji was arrested for 6 years jail. If you write, that is what I explain. Okay, so that's a small things would fetch you more rather than comment. If you answered explain mean how would you get score? This is what many aspirants are doing it, and once after examination call they would come. I Chauri Chaura incident is asked, whatever I know I have written about the Chauri Chaura incident. That is wrong. You should not write what do you know rather than what is asked. So by heart this statement, this is that it's a slogan of means, right? What do you know? Do you know? This is not what UPSC is not at all asking, rather than what is asked. What is asked? This is the right way. This is the right way of answering. So don't write what do you know. Yeah, you can give negative, exactly. You can give constructive negative comment. You should not give Gandhiji was responsible for delaying independence. If Gandhiji was not at all there, right, we would have got independent much earlier because it is proven factor. Because of the Gandhiji only, we have got independence. So keep it in mind. Today we are discussing, some people are for political purpose they are discussing. And another thing, I will come. Ram, I will come, right? Later we will discuss this also. Right. So this is what the statement. What do you know is not answer. What is asked write it, that is answer. For example, PJ Ram, one student is there, right? I asked, what is your name? I asked. He says, I am from Madurai. What the question is asked is, what is your name? But what he answered it, I am from Madurai. Is it the right way? This is what many candidates are doing in exam hall. They are not at all understanding the question and not at all writing accordingly, rather than they write what they know. So normally it would happen. Once after attending mains hall, many would come. Many would said, I have written whatever I knew and I am highly satisfied, but no marks would come. He would not go to interview. Some aspirant would come. What kind of question? Yeah, question is very tough, right? And my answer is I'm dissatisfied with my answer. Mean he would get interview call because he wrote what he didn't know rather than what is asked he tried to write. What is asked he tried to write mean he cannot satisfy himself. So that's a major different. Even in university exam also you would have. I have written everything, but you will not get any score. This is what the first thing. Yes. In case of critical examination, last I will come. In case of critical examination, what's the difference? In commentary also minus and plus. Definitely minus. But critical examination minus and plus you have to write and try to examine and last give conclusion. That's a major difference between comment and critical examination. In the comment, conclusion is optional. You may conclude or you may not conclude, but in critical examination, you should conclude it. Either it may be plus or minus. It's simple. Examiner. What the examiner is doing after examining, while examining your paper, if it is good answer, put tick, good. If it is bad answer, he cross it, bad. And at last, out of 100, 55 marks. Out of 100, 25 marks. So he is examining you, and at last he evaluate, critically evaluate or critically examine, one and the same. So if question is asked, comment, criticize, critic mean more negative point, and based on the last word, examine or evaluate, conclusion is must or not. That you determine. So this is what normally a student would commit mistake because you know everything. But the problem is you would properly understand these kinds of information. So from left to right, the factual informations are gradually getting slow. Factual wise, here no need to write factual at all. Okay, only thing you have to by heart it 5th Feb 1922. Even if you by heart like this, 1922 Gandhiji abruptly started NCM. That's enough. Got it? That's all. So this is what the mains first understanding the question. Right. Second is this is the common mistake is if the question is asked, question will be the single concept. Sometime breaking would be there. Question will be like this. Two set of questions will be asked, right, and 15 mark. For this part 7.5 marks and for this part 7.5 marks. So you should be very careful. What normally a candidate would do it, they would concentrate on only first part, they would deliberately miss the second part. Otherwise, they would deliberately write the second and would deliberately miss the first part. So this is also important because I have committed mistake. These kinds, one or two questions we committed. Again and again concentrating one part, deliberately leaving another part, and you have to give equal weightage. If it is 1.5, 3 pages are given, each 1.5 page. So these things you should determine even while before writing your answer. So keep it in mind. You have to study the question, you have to understand critical examine or not, and how I have to structure, then how many pages I am going to write for this topic and that topic within the question. Within 1 minute you have to think it. How would it come, sir? Means practice. Practice alone would perfect the man. So keep it in mind. That's why you used to say during mains you have to write more mains test. In class itself you will be given. In optional also you will be given. right? From that, you just follow it. So this is the second common mistake or strategy you have to follow. And third is structure. How the structure be there, right? Normally, I would never discuss in the GS because time is there. So today, so get that opportunity here, right? And you try to write, and you will gradually get more score. Yes, listen. Third, what is the structurization? Structure of the question is here number of pages not adequate. Note it down. Otherwise, keep it in mind. Number of pages not adequate rather than number of words. So at the end of the question, and marks means what you have to do, right? Because every time people are asking, yes, no, Magesh asked, should we count each word for answer word limit? No, it's impossible. Then how would you write? How would we come to know, sir? 2 pages I have written. How much I have written or not? That is also through practice. While writing in test in our classes, first in the test room, answer sheet will be given. You have to count it. First 5 tests or 7 tests you are writing in the classroom is after answer sheets are given, you have to count it, and you should know how many pages your word limit would come. That is what you have to do. These kinds of work you should do it. It is impossible inside the exam hall, right? To discuss, to count means you loss of time. Yes, first I will come to this, and next. So first structurization. Next I will come to word limit, right? So here always the first paragraph is the introduction. Write intro, not necessarily. No need to write every time introduction, last paragraph, top subtopic conclusion. Don't write. Examiner would come to know first paragraph is introduction, last paragraph is conclusion. If you wish to write for 20 questions, if the uh, paper means, if you wish to write 4 to 5, you write. Beyond that, don't write every question about the introduction part and conclusion part. It's not record notebook. It's not you are submitting any assignment to before that. It's like general idea because UPSC knew the limitation of that. So introduction, right? And next paragraph onwards, your core to the question. Now, sir, how many lines we have to write each paragraph? This is a question. Normally, I am facing it every year. So how many pages you have? Sorry, how many lines? Means listen. It is depends on question and marks. So it's based on question and especially the marks. Now I come to the marks concept by all by hearted. This is 10 mark. 10 mark mean as of now they are asking 175 words. Not exceeding, keep it in mind. Not exceeding 175. Not exceeding, na, you should never write 180 words. But it's impossible. So to exactly to finish maximum 185. So keep it in mind. 12.5 mark question, 200 to 220. 200 is the fixed one. UPSC would always ask fixed one. But either even you can finish 180 word itself, just plus or minus. Okay, here plus or minus 10 percentage. Okay, and 250 means you can go up to 275. If in 200 words, if you able to satisfy the examiner. The 20 mark question is not more than 300 words. 300 means 320 to 330. And 5 mark question, 5 mark question means 75 words. 75 to 90 words. Okay. So by heart it. Here itself we by heart it. Yes, this is the word limit. I am going to last 8 to 9 years. Yes, UPSC is asking like this only. There is no major changes of the question and mask mark. Right, exactly this is what. And each question, listen, if it is 10 mark question, for 10 mark question introduction, if you come to introduction, no need to write 6 lines or 7 lines of introduction, wastage of time. That's why I said for each question and marks different number of lines for introduction. For 10 mark question, total number itself is 175. If you write it for 6 lines for introduction, that itself would go for 50. Then where would you write for where would you write points? So if it is 10 mark question, maximum 3 to 4 line. Beyond that, don't write. Over. Maximum saying 3 to 4 is enough. Then straight away come to the point. Better to write number. So 10 mark question, numbering will be helpful. How you have to put number 1? Don't use bullet. So carefully, these are all the simple word things which put you more score. Am I right? And last I will come. Even if your question and if you able to get 0.5 extra mark, just imagine if writing like this words like this method, right? 0.5 extra mark to your question mean a paper 20 question. Then how many extra mark you will get? 10 extra mark. GS consists of 4 paper, right? 4 paper mean 20 cross 4, that is 10 cross 4 mean 40 extra mark you will get it in the 4 GS itself. I am saying minimum incremental of each score, it's a 0.5. Sometimes you will get 2 marks extra to a question. I am saying in 4 GS paper itself 40 marks and optional wise 2 papers. Am I right? 2 paper 10 is a 20, altogether 60 extra mark you will get it just by incrementing 1. Okay. Yes, what Sivapriya mentioned it. Can we use quotes given in spectrum in answer? Yes, exactly. No, in history wise, ethics wise, you should write quotes. If you know quotes, kindly. Right. Even sometimes what I used to say is essay. If it is essay, I will just reproduce the Tirukural. I will just reproduce the Tirukural, but in English version. So that's why if you know Tirukural, English version, you should not translate raw. You have to, English version of Tirukural is different. You can write as such. And you have to give explanation. You can give it. You can take it from Bhagavad Gita. You can take it from Bible. And likewise, history-wise, you should give quotations. Abraham Lincoln quotation in the case of world history. Right, Ambedkar quotation while writing about social issues. Yes. So this is what. So now I come back. Point. If you write first point, second point, fourth point, likewise 6 points. At last conclusion over. So 6 points mean examiner is forced to give at least 4 marks. So you see that for 6 points at least 4 marks. Introduction 1 mark, conclusion 1 mark. Out of this 10 you will get 6. This is the structurization of structure is important. Yeah, one by one. Then I will come. Manjusha and Mahesh, once it's finished, I will come. I'll come to you. Okay? I'll answer this. Yes. And the next thing. Next is 12.5. Listen. 12.5, 15, 20 marks. You can give some elaborate introduction. At least 5 lines or 6 lines you can give introduction. You can give it. And point wise while making it, 3 lines or 4 lines you can give it. You can give it. Such a 7 to 8 points you can give. So kindly refrain of using bullet, because bullet means how many points you have given. Examiner would not count it. For that he would not put more score. But if you put the number and ABCD, for example, 8 paragraph you are writing. In that itself some points are coming means sub A, B, C, D like this. Just. Okay, 4 points has been written. Here enter that point. definitely examiner could give more score. So these are all the simple things. This is the answer writing method. And one thing is last is the conclusion. In the history part, not in the other part, in the history part, conclusion should be future. Conclusion should be future. Otherwise, you can give current affairs. Current affairs related topic. It will put more score. I already discussed in optional, history optional. Now I come to GS. You can use one or two current affairs topic in history. You will be given very good score. Definitely you can give it. For example, while discussing about Indus Valley civilization, right? Indus Valley civilization or Harappan civilization, right? Harappan people used that closed drainage system, manhole, and each house had a bathroom, closed private bathroom for bathing purpose. It means that they feel hygiene, highly hygiene people, clean concept. It means that this is equal to Swachh Bharat. So if you write like this, you will be given very good score. But you should not explain the current affairs in history, just give the hint. Otherwise, even in the classroom itself, I discussed. While discussing about Swadeshi movement, I linked it with one current affairs. Any idea? Type it. Almost for all the batches I have discussed, I linked it with the current affairs. Atmanirman, no, Atman, okay. Yes. Make India, exactly. Make India is important because Swadeshi means boycotting that foreign and making the Indian produce, right? So this very similar to what one is, that's Make India. One. Another is self-reliant. Yes, self-reliant is not we are making it. Self-reliant was as said by Rabindranath Tagore mentioned about the self-reliant. Make India is very similar to Swadeshi movement. Likewise, you can connect it. So better to give one or two current affairs, more score. These things you keep it in mind. Deliberately I have to write. Deliberately I have to put like this. And practice in the classroom itself. And you will get more score. That's the only thing here. Keep it in mind. What is the difference between ordinary and the extraordinary student is the only this letter. Extra. They will put some extra work. That's all. So if you put extra work, you will become extraordinary. This is what normally many aspirants failed. That's why they couldn't enter into service. What is the extra effort? These are all the extra effort. Yes. Now I mentioned. So how many questions, how many words, and other thing is important. Yeah. Another person mentioned, Shivapriya mentioned about it. Ashoka pillar to communicate with the people is equal to present day Man Ki Baat. Exactly right. Exactly right. Because Ashoka, the first ruler who through the edict straight away communicated with that with the people. Right. Likewise, Man Ki Baat. But in history, what we used to study is it is that it's a people charter. We used to call it in polity. Right. Linkwise, it's a people's charter. The first ruler. Right. Yes. Definitely, you can use this. Likewise, link it in history what we studied. Then you will get very good. Yes. I hope I have given this much of information. And now I come to one, two question. Yes, one student. My handwriting is small, sir. So I usually tend to finish in 1.12. Yes, that's keep it in mind. Number of pages is not at all a matter. Yeah, keep it in mind. So number of pages is not at all matter. No need to bother. That's why I'm saying word limit. Then you come to you, especially for the girls. We the boys, right? We the boys would like mukha very big, but girls would write right cursive language small. Listen, for a 12.5 mark question, they would give 2 page. Here a one, here another. You just imagine 2 pages they would give. No need to fill the 2 pages. Keep it in mind. So their intention is they have to accommodate all kind of student. Some of the student like me would write this much big. Some of the student like Manjusa would write very small. Alright, very small. Right. So word limit. For example, for me like person, even pages are given, I can't complete 12.5 mark question. Okay. But some students, right, within one page itself, they would complete 200 words. That's enough. And you have to strike it and go on to next question. So number of words count, not number of pages you have written. So no need to fill all. If you try to fill all, you will be entered into trap because last 5 to 6 questions you cannot answer. And how I come to know I can fill it within that this much of test means experience, practice. One. Yes. And another thing, should we write to the factual? No. Keep it in mind. That's a major difference in history for prelims and mains. Right. So for mains wise, no need to ready, no need to produce exact factual information. Right. Even if you forget in which year India got independence, just you put around 1940s after getting independence, these kinds of measure. Understood? This is important. And the next thing, can I fill left out page with map or yes? Next I have to discuss how you are to make the Jigna work if you don't know any answers to write, but I have to fill something to make it my answer is appealable, my answer is right. That you have to do. Next I will come related to the diagram wise. Okay, one student asked it. Another one, sir, can we expect questions of Mapla? We can't. I can't say like this. Yes, what you are expecting is correct because Mapla rebellion happened in 1920, 1921. Now 2020, 100 year. Good. Because normally questions will be like this. We may expect, but I will expect in my history optional. Definitely Mapla uprising would come in the history optional. But how far in the GS, how far in the prelims? Better. You just to go through about Mapla rebellion because 100 years of the Mapla rebellion. What you predicted is correct. And Manu mentioned that finished it. Okay. How to choose optional? We already discussed. Okay. I'll give. Listen. Now almost all the candidate have chosen. Even last week itself, so many batch shift are there between it. So keep it in mind. Choosing a wrong optional, landing into the wrong side. Because out of 1750 marks, 500 mark is exclusively optional. Remaining is GS. So 1/3 is optional. Yours is determined by 1/3 is optional. Even if it is that popular optional geography, history likewise, it will have an impact in the GS portion also. Impact in the GS portion also. So not just 500, it is 600 or 650 likewise. So choosing wise optional is, listen, even optional videos have been sent. Out of 20 optional, you would not going to choose all. Just only 3 to 4 you will be interesting. Just to go through the syllabus, just to go through the previous year question paper, and automatically you would come to know which optional seems to be good for me. And then you choose it. Don't choose optional based on previous year result. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. Some student would take it like this. That's a absolutely wrong way. Last year, this optional got more score, so more number, so I am going to take. Then what would happen? This year, some other optional would get more score, so next year you will shift to next optional, that optional. So this is wrong method. One. Second wrong method is this optional, one optional is good for one people, so you are following it. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. If that is for their people, not necessarily good for you people. This is a wrong way of choosing optional. Okay. that is best for you, that you choose it and you score it and you be the trend setter rather than the trend follower. Because every year students are, especially new students, are committing these kinds of mistakes. So this optional is popular, this optional is popular optional, this optional non-popular optional. Then in UPSC there is no popular and unpopular optional. If it's so, you are in ignorance side. You are absolutely in ignorance side. If it's a popular optional, why not eliminating all the optional and just putting one optional as a choice? So there is no popular, there is no unpopular option. This is a wrong way, right? You should be very careful of this. And the third is, while getting advice, don't get advice from your batchmates, especially this year. You will ask, this optional good? For him or her, he would say, what do you know? Nothing. You have to interact with that youngsters, especially those who entered into the service. For example, history. Those who entered into the service, get information. What are all the plus, minus, can I eligible? Right. Don't get idea from the your own batchmates. Absolutely wrong. How what knowledge they would have? Understood? So these things are there while taking. Get advice, but the decision should be yours. That it should sprung from your heart. Automatically it would come. Yes, you will incline towards one. It seems to be good. And last one, don't go through an optional based on the syllabus. Sir, this optional is lesser syllabus, dangerous. Right? This because hidden topics are there. This optional is this much weak, sir. Yes, it means that everything is given. So don't fix it just by going through syllabus. So don't commit these things because every year students are doing it. Now I already explained, just I am expressing it. At last, and last one is a guidance should be there. Even some rarest English literature, commerce, then engineering, right? Guidance should be there. Without guidance, it's difficult because examination and paper evaluation and personal guidance should be there. Yes, over. Next is. Yes. For answer writing practice, should I do on regular basis or enough with this institution? Yes. As of now, don't start because you are in that now only you are in beginning. If you start to write answer writing, wastage of time, and it's your answer would be like beating around the bush because you don't know sufficient information. For first batch, history, modern India alone is over. But modern India means answer is not just confined to modern India. You can give answer from polity. You can give answer from social issues. Just for understanding, I have taken. While geography is taken, geography means not just a core geography. You can take it from economy also. You can take it from environment also. So, just as of now, writing. Next 2 months, you go for more study. More study. If you wish to write, wait. In the institute itself, we will provide that class test. Attend it. After Jan, yes, at least December. By the time your optional will almost be over, you know how to write it for mains, and some of the GS core subject will be over. Now you will know the broad and the comprehensive aspect. Through that you can go through. So till if now itself if you write as of me, you don't know anything. It's like a beating around the bush. Otherwise, you do one thing. Now you try to write one or two answer. Keep it with you. After 6 months, you write the same thing and you go through the old paper. Yourself would what nonsense I have written. Because no information at all. No need. Regarding newspaper making, I just read the paper on regular basis and going through Civilpedia. Monthly compilation read because I making consuming more time. Yes, initially it will take like this, but there is no alternative. So keep it in mind. I already said in that newspaper session itself. Okay, I'm again refreshing on that because initial phase already discussed that. Listen, one newspaper. There's no compromise on this. and one net source. Net source. Civilpedia, okay. Right? Net source. Listen, this is the supplement, and net source is not substitution, because newspaper can be substituted by any kind. Newspaper is the great. No substitution for newspaper. Initially you will take time, yes, no doubt at all. For me it took even sometime half days. Morning 10 o'clock if you start, it would go up to 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. Some day 6 hours, some days nothing. Half an hour newspaper is over. Another thing is, some people are saying daily you have to study 3 hours, 4 hours of newspaper. That is wrong. Based on the news, sometime 3 hours, 4 hours. Based on not at all a news, half an hour is enough. So that's also foolishness. No need to regularly study the newspaper. Sorry, regular hours for newspaper. It's based on news. Okay, so you have to make notes from this. You take notes, put a separate notebook, put a date like this, right? 2020 like this. You put a date and take it. After 1 month, you just to go through the comparison of Civilpedia. 80% you have covered. Sorry, 70% you have covered. 30% will be different, because as of now you are studying. You might have left it. You can cover 30%. You are in advanced rather than compilation. You would have studied the day itself, compilation would come late. So you will be in advanced. Whatever the left out portion, that alone you go through. Openly to say, for me, clearing prelims is not at all a matter, because my first optional is history. My second optional is geography. Over. GS wise, you would easily go through. Out of 150 question, 45 to 50 question, both from core optional. History and geography in those time too, right? Another thing, whether I am studying anything, myself is a law graduate, polity is not at all a matter for me. Only thing, I have to concentrate on current affairs. Current affairs wise, I will never leave it. Daily morning or late night. Better to study night. Don't start morning with the current affairs, because it's a time consuming. Morning you study core subject. This I used to practice. Some people would say, no, morning, it's a hot, suda, in Tamil, may we used to call, right? You have to study current affairs, not necessarily. That is politician would study. Politician would study, and they would go to the function, and they would attend the meeting. For them, they have to study. But UPSC aspirant, better to study at night, because you keep it. After studying the newspaper, I am going to bed mean. You can extend the day of studying. At night, you will extend. Otherwise, in the morning itself, if you have completed, then you will be satisfied. Oh, newspaper is over, the day is over, then no need to study. Your conventional paper would be like that. So this is another thing of extending your number of hours. Okay, so keep this in mind. Today I have to complete the newspaper, I have to take note, then only I will go to bed. After dinner, 9 o'clock if you open, sometime 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, let it. Sometimes 11:30, good. But without finishing the newspaper, I would not go to bed. Keep this in mind. You can extend your number of hours. So you should take newspaper. Why I am saying is, newspaper will helpful for not only current affairs, for essay writing. Newspaper is the great. This is the major difference between net source and essay newspaper, because in net source, cut and paste. Cut and paste. Already one analyzer would be there. What information he knew, right, he would just mention. But in the case of newspaper, yourself studying the information raw, essay writing will come automatically. For me also, essay writing would automatically come, because daily vociferous. And now I become addict of the newspaper. Do you know? Without studying newspaper, end of the day, no end of the day. At one point you will become like this. So addiction is good. Newspaper addiction is good. Got it? So essay writing. And third is, it will be helpful for CSAT. Sir, how newspaper reading will be helpful for CSAT? I mean, comprehensive answer writing. 2015 or 16, I hope, nearly 5 comprehensive paragraph essay type has been given in CSAT. Among that, 3 is exclusively from the Hindu editorial. As such, the same thing. One is environment, another is related to one politics. They ask it as such copy paste. So it's not just for current affairs, for getting good score, because you will automatically get essay writing. And another thing is CSAT. That's why no substitution for newspaper. Can you just give some suggestion for working professional as yes, yeah, that's important because many are working weekend batches are there. If you are working means structure, you will find it difficult. Do one thing for working people. What you have to do is it's commonly to all, especially working. Whatever has been given in the class, first priority. It's for not only for working, for all. First priority classroom. Whatever taken in the classroom, first complete it. Okay, both in the class notes as well as in the textbook. And the second preference, you give newspaper. Second preference, you give newspaper. Don't give first preference to the newspaper because at least newspaper you have compilation work. But once today class is taken, tomorrow if you didn't complete, next week you will forget. Then what is the concept, especially in economy, especially in polity, full of concept oriented, what you will write is very less, right? At least in history, geography, some factuals are there. You can easily. But concept, if you couldn't recollect, then it will be a total disaster. It's a second. And third, fourth, your own preference, next wise. This is the best way for the uh, working professional, so that you can adequately spend your minimum, that is that golden time for getting more score. Right, I hope I answered. And next is Magesh. Yes, should we count each word? I have mentioned that. Sir, if question phrase is in, do you agree with the statement? Yes. Can we say either agree or disagree, or should we go agree? Yes, listen. If the question is, do you agree, mean you can go either agree or disagree. But you have to stand only one. Okay. What I will answer like this question mean, do you agree that Guptan era, that is the Guptan period, Guptan era, a golden era of ancient India. Question, right? Give your points. Give your points. For example, agree means you have to give points. If I disagree, mean accordingly you have to give the points. Right? If the question is asked, right, in the first instance itself, right, I do agree. Or yes, I do agree. If I mention like this, examiner will just find the answer, would just search whether agree points are there or not. Right? I do disagree means then all the things subsequently. So either you can go for agree or disagree. Okay. So not note making for newspaper is online or offline is good. Don't take online. Due to COVID situation only, newspapers are there. But because you are writing, but mains is related to writing. While taking notes, your hands would work, your writing practice, and writing is equal to 5 times of reading. Better to go for offline. How much hours newspaper? That's why now only I said, I think I answered. There is no specific hour of spending the newspaper. It is based on the number of articles and news, important articles related to us. Yes, I have attended for modern test one, sir, which is till 1857. I felt like some of the questions are so deep, like நாம் படிக்காதது வந்துருச்சு. ஓகே, ஆர் நான் இன்னும் நல்லா ப்ரிப்பேர் பண்ணலையா? ஓகே, ஆர் got confused. Yes, actually, that's why you see that UPSC is endless. It's impossible. You can study, but if you go to question, some of the questions seems to be strange. but you have to manage it. Topic is the same, but you have to manage it. So you explore the new avenues. You have to study little bit, because all are there in the spectrum book or 12th NCERT. You have to study little more of this, and that too, first test up to 1847 is the damn easy. You are saying about the, I hope it's a preliminary question, I hope. Am I right? One or two question, no need to bother. It is the toughest one. Even myself can't answer inside the exam hall. That's not at all a matter. Leave it. Okay, at least any subject, any book twice or thrice. If you study only once, then you have to study again. Yes, next is uh, ask this. For this weekend batch, Ancient India started. Will you take classes, sir? Listen, for GS wise, listen, I would take Ancient. I would take for GS, I would take Modern India and PAC, because for itself I don't have sufficient time. For optional history wise, still everything ancient, medieval, modern, world history wise. So for topic, right, other stuff would stay, world history other stuff. For you, right, I will take modern and PAC. Normally PAC, modern India wise we will start. Yes. Next is any tactics for prelims. As of now, you entered. Okay, well, first tactics is any a question any subject you have to study at least twice in the book. If you study thrice, good. Okay, first thing. Second is once you studied, attempt the question. Again, second time, attempt the question. At least modern India mean 3 times you should have studied and attempted question. That's enough. And at last 5 to 6 right mock test. Don't go for so many mock tests. That's also wrong. Overdosing, actually. That's enough. That's a tactics for prelims 1. Right. Tactics for prelims. Now it seems to be immature to discuss about this. At last, how you have to face better. Right. So as of now, only tax. Study the core concept. That's enough. What about the diagram? Yes, that I have to explain. So diagrams are so many kind. If I attend my modern India, in that itself I have mentioned so many diagrams. For example, one is the flow chart. While discussing about Plassey, I have given flow chart. One, note it down. Flow chart like this. Okay. Even you can put like this. If yes, like this. If no, like this. This is also good. So use your engineering mind. Second thing is Venn diagram. CSAT. Same thing you can use it. So if you are science student, whatever you used in the science, you just apply it in the art subject. Especially history, if you write like this, you will given more score. Here it will be like this, sir. Here, here, here. The people are here. For example, educated, uneducated. Some are educated foolish. Some are uneducated foolish. Some are educated genius. Some are uneducated genius. So likewise, for overlapping purpose, you can write the Venn diagram. And third is the brain mapping, we used to say. Brain mapping is like this. What you are thinking. From your brain, right? From your brain, what you are thinking. I am thinking like this, sir. I am thinking like this. I am thinking like this, right? From your brain, what you are thinking. This is called brain mapping. Right? And another geography wise map. Map is there. So likewise, you do one thing. Otherwise, go to MS Word. In MS Word, picturization, so many diagrams are there. Each diagram you take it and try to create. That is a diagrammatic concept. Okay. if we don't have any idea about the question, what should we do? Two things. If it is the choice based question, leave it. In optional choice based questions are they, leave it, better. If it is non choice based question, try to find the keyword. One or two keyword definitely be there, write it. If you start to write at least a page, just write a common points, don't leave it. For GS, don't leave any question, at least a page, manage it and come out. If you leave the page, sorry, if you leave the question, it's wrong, because I committed this kinds of mistake, openly to say. That's why couldn't. Each paper I will miss 30 marks. Just imagine what nonsense I did it. Even one thing, I first mains one paper, I do hope. Remember, today, till the date I lament, out of 300, when I was we were the student 300 marks, 240 marks alone I have written. How deliberately nonsense way I left 60 marks. A paper I'm saying, 10 to 1, 60 marks I left it. That too, after thing I left like this. I never bothered about it. But now I am doing. So never ever leave any question, especially in GS. Wrong it is. It would affect your life actually. Forever you will feel it. Okay, manage it. Understand the question. Even if you couldn't understand the question, at least one word you would know that, right? Manage it and write and come out. Attend all the question, that one kind first. Should we group news notes based on topic? No, don't do like this. It's a wastage of time. According to me, I'm thinking. Rather than date based, you mention it. If you put economics one notebook and in politics one notebook, it's impossible. Then notes itself would come for bulk. Rather than you date wise, it's very easy to revise, because newspaper is not a subject of one, it's a subject of all. For example, if you are going through a page, first economic would come, then you will take economic notes, wastage of time. Next is science and tech. Rather than just write it. Weightage for current affairs in prelims. Yes, nowadays weightage for current affairs in prelims is high. Weightage of current affairs, right? Minimum 20 question you can ask. Actually, what is current affairs means? There's no current affairs. Major question from environment would cover. Major question, one or two question from geography. For example, in which strait, near which strait, if there is a ship accident and spillage of oil, right? Recently, in which of the following strait or which of the following area that environment disaster happened? It seems to be current affairs, but it's a core geography. Almost environment question is from current affairs. Core current affairs wise, as far as me, 7 questions would be asked. Who got this prize? Am I right? Recently, this person is in news. Kangana is in news. Why? This is pure. Apart from that, recently in Nagaland, right, in this lake, this kinds of incident happened. What's the significance of this lake? This is not a current affairs, it's a pure geography. Okay, so minimum 20 marks for current affairs. In Shankar Sir's video, he told to use preamble idea in answer writing. What is this? What is preamble idea means? It's like it's a synopsis. Synopsis, that's called preamble. What is preamble? If you study preamble, you no need to study 300 and 400 articles of Indian Constitution, because 400 articles abstract is given. So synopsis are abstract. That is the preamble way of answer writing. Okay. So what do you know? The keyword I mentioned. Now I am going to explain. That's concept. Yes, that's all. Almost I completed. Any further question? Otherwise we shall wind up. So whatever I have taken, note it down. Once in a weekend, you by heart it. Okay, 10 mark question, this much. Comment mean that's nice, like this. And before writing means you just go through then you will come. If time permits, can you check my mains answer book Accordingly, for GS, I am not doing so because separate people are there. As of now, I am doing it. Once you put that to some other people, you just give it to them also, because only in the optionals alone I am taking, because in GS for making the uniformity, right, I am not taking it, correcting it. Yes, when PIC will be started at last, because PIC, how modern India beginning I am coming, likewise end of your courses, at the time I will come, not immediately. Okay, PIC would take at Feb month or March month, we will discuss, not now. Right. Yes, thank you. Any other? Can we give negative opinion about the national leader? That's why, okay, I will come to one asked it. What about the negative opinion is, listen, criticism. The word criticism is two things. One is the constructive criticism. Constructive criticism. Another is the destructive criticism. Destructive criticism. Regarding national leaders, first don't criticize. This is unwritten law. But if you want to criticize, go for constructive criticism. What is constructive criticism means? Gandhiji would have done like this. Keep it in mind. What he done is wrong. I never said. Rather than I say, he would have done like this, means you are criticizing them positive way. You are not criticizing negative way. So Nehruji would have done like this, or should have done like this. Right? But if you come to British, you have to go for open criticism. So national leader wise, don't criticize openly. For British wise, whatever the word, right, scolding word, scolding word means criticizing word, use that one. Okay. Now, yes. Yeah, long hours of study. Keep it in mind. Last one tip is, since we people are studying for long hours sitting, studying means not necessarily by sitting. This keep it in mind. And not necessarily by straightforward. Yes, position of your body. And backbone it's like this, and head would be like this. You are convenient. Sometimes you can study by walking. Sometimes you can study in a bed itself. You can study. So first thing is environment. First correct environment should be there. While studying, no one should disturb you. Otherwise, don't study. Especially backside serial would be done. Especially the parents, age-old parents would see the serial, right? And noise will be merry noise would be there. Don't study. Switch off it. Otherwise, cut that is the connection. Better you do it yourself. Go and cut it. Once ask parents, if not at all obeying, cut it. Okay, first. Second thing is sitting position, not necessarily to be in sitting position. So various ways. Third is 3 hours if you study, next 1 hour go for listening. Actually, best way of studying listening. But listening would not replace studying. Reading is not replaced by listening. 1 hour you listen, and hint point you try to take. Your answer, ability of reading, sorry, ability of listening, ability of taking hints will be there. So diversify your method of studying. Don't be monotonous, because nowadays we do have so many sources are there. And buy a very good iPad or stylish, anyone you buy it, that is a very good, otherwise iMac, buy it. These are all not spending, these are all investment. You have to study for long time. Computer wise, 2 hours book, 1 hour computer, very good. Don't study in the phone, because phone is very small. Eye problem would come. At least 10-inch or 8-inch above you study, it will be helpful. Small things would improve it. Okay, and last one, do physical exercise. Without doing physical exercise, because you are sitting for a long time, backbone problem, all kind of problem would come. Neck pain would come, headache would come. So without physical exercise, you can't be there. right? You have to develop your body. In Tamil, 2000 year before itself, it said, "Udambai valathen, uirai valathen." You have to first develop your body. Then only you can develop your soul. Body is that much of important. Then only your soul would strain for long. At least a hour daily do physical exercise. It may be related to house sweeping or clothing, or if it's doing, or it's weightlifting, or it's skipping, whatever you wish. Outdoor, purely outdoor work, stretching daily, that's enough. But for that, don't be like to with a six pack or eight pack, and don't go to the gym for 2 hours, 3 hours, and you wastage of, and you just come and you, if you have after taking bath, if you have some breakfast or dinner, that's all. 10 o'clock you start to sleep. That's also wrong. Okay, that's all. I hope now I explain how to manage our preparation while doing so, because now we are doing second year. You will give our one first attempt in after 2 year. How do be so consistent? Yes, listen, for such a people, Kalpana like people, and those who are in academic, that is academic means in their educational institution, those who are studying undergraduates are such people, especially first year, second year, first preference is your college. So don't commit any wrong or any lethargy in college, because that scoring is important. Okay, after studying that, attend class. After that, second preference you give it till your college is over, right? Not at the cost of college. This many students are even if you come, normally we would not advise. Even if you come to our academy, 12th standard people are coming for admission, 8th standard people are coming, openly to say. Especially in Adayar, opposite schools are there, Shishya schools likewise. 8th standard, 10th standard, sir, just as we are ready to pay 1.5 lakh rupees, not at all a matter. My son and daughter would come for study. First concentrate on your academic education institution, then you come. Why we are allowing at least first year, second year mean, right? So somewhat mature, but not at your cost. First academic preference, then you come for institution preference. Likewise, you do once third year or your fourth year final semester is over, then completely concentrate on this. This is the one thing. Your consistency should be there in your undergraduation. After you come to here. Till that, just attend the class as far as possible. Try to complete whatever has been taken here, but not at the cost of your undergraduation. Now you would have got Kalpana, I hope. Yes. I think almost I answered. No other doubts. Right. So we shall wind up today's class, because of 3 different batches are there. Better to wind up. Okay. Thank you. Yes, Sadiq, I am working currently and I have no time to take. Yes, better. So keep it in mind. If you're working means, don't take all CSAT, GS, optional simultaneously. You put something. For example, CSAT. If you feel it mean, you can take it Jan or Feb month. Very good. You can take it. GS first preference. CSAT optional, your own preference, which I can complete at first. Right. And the third one, either CSAT or optional, you put it in the next batch, because both CSAT as well as optional, we will start in November, December months also. Another batch would be there. So don't take all the 3 and study it at present. You will be get into trouble. Yeah, definitely, Sadiq, you can do. You can do that the CSAT Jan or Feb months. That's easy. Okay.